Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Shem Abishai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all of my fellow laborers. To the confusion of face laborers that are joined unto our ranks. To the hopefully elect, the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. This is part 2 of America, or pedophilia exposed in America by Donald Trump. And it's going to continue on with the video before we go to the next one. This is, and I'm going to start with the scripture. The scripture is Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, starting in verse 3. And it says, "And in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened." All right, so that means the grinders ceasing, meaning jobs and no pay. What America is experiencing. All right, you already had stores closing on top of store closing, and you know, and all these different industries that have moved out of America. Although Trump is claiming that steel is back in America, but I don't know where any steel mills have been reopened, so I don't know what he's talking about when he says that. But you know, and then the future looks really dark and gloomy to many people, man. All right, so you know, you already got a problem with drugs, especially among the so-called white men, Caucasians here in America. You know, they losing, even Trump said a couple days ago, 300 a day to opioids. That's just opioids. We're not counting fentanyl and which he mentioned, and meth, and then the suicides and deaths of despair, because they're living from paycheck to paycheck now. They're getting a taste of what Jake's life has been like all along. All right? And they don't like it. Okay? Verse 4. "And the door shall be shut in the streets, and when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of a bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." So people rising up in the morning to go look hunting for jobs, but there's no work, man. And these businesses are shutting down. Then you got people that got jobs and they're not getting paid.
That makes sense. I mean, no one's more relatable than Donald Trump, right? He's just a regular working class family man.
So many programs affected by this shutdown. Turns out the government does a lot of things. Who knew? Including food stamps, subsidized school lunches, the EPA, the USDA, and the Smithsonian and National Zoo. And you can tell they're upset about it if you look at the National Zoo's Panda Cam.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted today that President Trump will travel to the southern border on Thursday. And what do you know? Mexico finally started building that wall.
As the partial government shutdown enters week 3 with no end in sight, we're getting a picture of how the fight in Washington could affect people across the rest of the country. If Congress and the White House can't come to a deal to fund a quarter of the government by February, millions of Americans who receive benefits from the country's food stamp program, SNAP, risk having their assistance cut off. The IRS has also been forced to send home 90% of its employees ahead of its busiest season. That could delay tax refunds.
So I was right. It was 90% of its workforce. And she said that could delay. It is definitely going to delay if you get any money at all. All right? America's falling and she can't get up. Okay? And what's that going to bring? That's going to bring on these riots, man. These riots and crime is going to increase, home invasions, and these things are already happening, man. They're just going to increase. More muggings, more shootings, all right? And there's just no way around this quagmire, okay? This is 2 Ezra 15 and 49. "And I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. When the heat shall arise, it is sent over thee." Okay? Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and the lovers shall not be able to receive thee, man. So the nations of the world are breaking ties with America, man. And America, its wounds can't be healed, man. Like I said, Babylon, we would have healed thee, but you're not gonna. She's not gonna be healed. All right. Esau is truly sitting in the dust. As it said, these Edomites are sitting in the dust. They do not know what to do. Everywhere they turn is confusion, and their systems are failing. You know, just failing.
In the U.S. Capitol, it's do not enter, stay out, closed for business.
If you come to D.C. to visit, you can visit the Lincoln Memorial, but the toilets are closed, the gift shop is closed, and the park police patrolling and protecting this area, they're not getting paid. We're into the third week now of this government shutdown. 800,000 federal workers furloughed or working without pay. And as every day progresses, the concern is that the fallout is going to spread. A new day of the government shutdown bringing new concerns about the impact on Americans, especially those relying on the federal government to get by. One of the programs in jeopardy, food stamps. Nearly 39 million people use it to feed their families, and it's quickly running out of funding.
I won't be able to come in here and buy my groceries.
Getting married? Lovebirds in the nation's capital may have to put those wedding bells on hold after the Marriage Bureau that issues licenses in D.C. was closed.
Empty pockets of all personal effects, please.
The paychecks for TSA officers won't land in their bank accounts later this week if the government still has the out-of-office message. Some of those screeners calling out sick in protest, though the TSA union is urging them not to.
The standoff is also now affecting travelers. Wait times are up at many airports as some screeners call out sick rather than work without pay.
Flyers at New York's LaGuardia Airport yesterday had to wait in nearly hour-long security lines. The TSA blamed a higher-than-expected number of travelers coupled with mismanaged resources for the delays. But the agency is worried lines will get longer if more TSA screeners call out sick due to the ongoing government shutdown. TSA officials are concerned Friday's payroll deadline when screeners will miss.
The average American lives paycheck to paycheck, and people can't afford to go to work and not get paid. It costs you to go to. It costs money to make money, as Esau always says. It costs you money to go to work. All right. Some people have to buy their lunch or buy their food so that they can go to work, pay for their gas, pay for their travel. Every little bit matters. All right. And basically, America is dying the same way it did before. America is spiritually Rome, is spiritually Egypt, is spiritually Babylon. And all those places failed. They all went under.
Their first paychecks could be a tipping point. Many of the more than 51,000 screeners cannot afford to miss a check, and officials fear they may not come to work.
The Airline Pilots Association calling on President Trump to end it, concerned that with air traffic controllers potentially and also TSA officers potentially working without pay, it puts the nation's airspace at risk.
800,000 federal workers are not being paid. Farmers aren't getting their government subsidies. Pilots are warning about airline security as TSA officers work without paychecks. Christine Vittel, a single mother, works for the TSA at Chicago O'Hare.
I live 39 miles away from the airport. That's one way. My gas is what takes up my money, right? I could go probably one more pay period without getting paid, but most people can't go one more day.
The president doesn't understand that we are human beings. We are people. Federal workers, that's just like, words, federal workers. No. I am the federal worker. He is the federal worker. We are people. We have bills to pay. We have food we need to eat to survive, just like everybody else. It's not a game to us. I mean, it seems like it's a game to him. Oh, I'll keep the government shut down for months, for years. Well, what about the 800,000 people? Do you even care? Do you have a heart?
800,000 federal employees have been furloughed or are working without pay. The Smithsonian's museums, the National Zoo, and National Gallery are closed. You'll also see nothing on the live web feed of the National Zoo's Panda Cam, which ceased broadcasting on Wednesday.
Hey, this is Isaiah 47. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt nor be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. And I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." All right, so the Lord is going to send all these plagues and all this destruction and despair before he makes a physical return. And when he comes back this time, you're not going to be able to touch him. He's not going to meet you as a man. He's going to greet you as an angelic power, man. You know, 100 times worse than Thanos could ever have been. All right? Let's click to the next video. All right.
No one is going to hand us the agenda we voted for. We must fight for it. They're not.
The second woman is a woman who wrote to the New York Post claiming she had videotapes of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, underage girls. There are emails are secret, but that prove there'll be prominent people in handcuffs. Prominent people in handcuffs once these emails come out.
It's about stopping.
Now, see, this is why that whole R. Kelly thing has been so big, because there are bigger fish to fry that are real pedophiles, man. And I'm not talking about girls who pass the flower of their age, meaning you've received your period, and according to Christianity, according to the Bible, a woman is a woman at that age. All right? There's no such thing as adolescence. You are a man at a certain age, you are a woman at a certain age in the ancient world, and in the societies which America claimed so boldly to be a part of and have started. All right? Remember in the Grecian Empire, women were getting married at 13, 14, 15 years old and starting families. That was normal. Even here in America, just going back barely 80 years, that was normal. Okay? But the pedophilia I'm talking about is these people high ups, is presidents and presidents to be involved in pedophilia, and people poking fun out of it, and then they create all these sensationalized stories around it to try to demonize anyone who talks about it, like the guy who took the gun and went down to the pizza parlor and all that. That's all set up, man, and propaganda to sensationalize it and make it sound silly. And now the evidence is all over the internet, flowing from the dark web to the regular web, that these things are real. All right? And the president is dropping dimes on people, man.
Human traffickers. Human trafficking is a big business. It's a big deal. Dealing in children is a big deal. Children are probably the most harmed. They grab them, they put tape over their mouth, they tie their hands, and they take them to another country. We have things happening that you don't want to even know about. And it's been that way for decades, and we can't have it anymore.
It names names. These people are going to go to jail once these emails come out.
Good morning. The truth is starting to come out big time. I'm going to show you.
Now this super coon right here talking about he bleeds red, white, and blue. This is the black conservative. Wow. First of all, your skin is brown, dummy. There's nothing black about you. You're very, very brown. All right. And anyway, and he's you know, makes me wonder, man, if this dude's a terror. Now he's just a bugged out Jake, man. All right, who loves his home, his oppressors, and the home of oppression.
Two things that I think are very important. One is that during the right before his flight to Camp David and upon arrival to Camp David, President Trump made a big deal about trafficking at the border. I think that is huge, and it's very, very specific what he said. Knowing that he would get the attention of the media and the press, he said it twice. And then Alan Dershowitz also had an interview with a local Fox affiliate in New York. And you have to remember that the deep state uses projection. And what they said they have on Alan Dershowitz, which I don't know if it's true or not, he's refuting it. But the point is, it's a very specific charge about them having evidence of contact, carnal contact with those who are not of the age of consent. Read between the lines. Let's get into it.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us on the Black Conservative Patriot channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
Black Conservative Patriot here. Welcome to the BCP channel, the most inclusive channel on all the internet for libertarians and conservatives. Doesn't matter the color of your skin, doesn't matter which of the two genders you are. If you bleed red, white, and blue like we do, welcome to the family. And talking about color, you'll notice I'm wearing a yellow vest. And those who've been on this channel...
Yesterday on my way from downtown, there were large crowds of people marching with yellow balloons and yellow vests. And if you've been keeping up with that yellow vest movement over Europe, man, they're burning cars, burning buildings. A bomb went off. Police are being attacked. Police attacking people. It's total, utter madness. And that is what's headed to America. You add, and like the Lord said, what if it already be kindled, man? The fires are already burning, man, before the Lord even returns. Okay?
For a while, no, I'm in the finance industry, so why would someone in finance be wearing a yellow vest? And that's because the yellow vest protests in France and in Europe continue because it is a revolt against the globalists and the banker baron families. And
now that he said that, this is let me go back to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra 15. And in 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. And there shall be sedition among men. That's what he's saying. That's what a revolution is. That's what an uprising is. Sedition. All right. There shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So these people are standing up and fighting against their governments. And yes, they are going to be invading one another's houses as victuals get lower and lower. Okay? And a lot of you women are going to realize that being a feminist was a horrible mistake. You're going to realize that you're not a man and you're not equal to a man. And you're going to be put into a position where you're going to need men again. So it's going to be a lot of women that come bowing down and giving themselves and giving their bodies to try to get to have some man protect them or take care of them. And a lot of you just going to get used and abused and left by the men anyway, because a lot of men just have a horrible taste in their mouth with the way they've been treated as a result of the power that was given to women in the last 50, 60 years or so. All right. Which all it did is you just look at the divorce rates and the broken families. Prior to that, family stayed together. Do the math.
their power over monetary systems, over the entire agenda of making you and I and our patriot cousins in Europe the serfs of the banking elite.
And see, he's we all together, man. He acting like an Edomite, man. The Edomites have been against us, you know. Then these poor everyday Edomites, they should be angry with the elites for blocking them and keeping them from their birthright. Okay? Because when everything was good, they weren't down for the fight for us. They had no problem living off our oppression. And now our oppression is spilled over into their lives. They have a problem with it. Now all of a sudden it's us together, bro. Us against the elites. No, it's us against you and the elites.
That's what it boils down to. So, in a show of solidarity, if you will, I am wearing a yellow vest today, and we'll be doing that throughout the upcoming videos. I want to get into the video I have for you today. Just want to cover two things that are very important, because many of us in November of 2016 had a rude awakening. Even many of us who knew about the deep state, the shadow government, were aware of, just the cabal, the secret organizations that they operate under secrecy, that they are into all kinds of devious things. But when we found out the level of the level of involvement of people in high places having to do with the abuse of the most innocent prepubescent among us, we were sickened. It's been ignored by the mainstream media, and that is why I'm very happy to report that our own president of the United States, Donald John Trump, who was duly elected to be president of this country and is the subject of a completely unconstitutional and illegal witch hunt. He brought it up twice on his way to Camp David and coming back, specifics about what is happening at our border. Interesting things that are not being covered by the press, but every time he speaks, he uses it. No,
because they're too busy talking about R. Kelly. All right? They, Bill Cosby is dried up now. So now they got a new guy to keep the American public and social media focused on. Meanwhile, your presidents, your former presidents and political leaders were all a bunch of freaks and pedophiles and had a lot to do with the sex trafficking that's going on. And like he said, people in high places are going to be arrested. And I hope that it all comes out. For Obama, he supported it all. I hope they all get exposed, man, and shamed, so the world can see the wickedness of this place, man.
As his bully pulpit.
And you dumbass Americans that believe in this place.
He uses, I'm talking about President Trump, the opportunity to red pill America. And that's what he did here. And I also want to show you how Alan Dershowitz talked about how he is being framed by the deep state and deep state players and actors of the same crime that they are the ones who have committed. For instance, the real Russian collusion is from Hillary Clinton and her ilk and the previous administration, which they're trying to blame on President Trump. Alan Dershowitz, they're trying to frame him or pin him of this same deviancy that we are now aware of, that the deep state uses to control people, and they're trying to get Dershowitz on it. I don't know if he's guilty or not. I just don't know that. But he's saying he's not, and he's saying that he has
just go forward a little bit
of email of the people who mentioned to
try to get
I truly hope you'll step up, add your name to my list of supporters.
There we go.
What President Trump said when asked about the wall and the need to have a wall or a steel or a physical barrier to protect our southern border.
But most importantly, it's about safety. It's about security for our country. It's about stopping human traffickers.
Now, if you're new to my channel, I'm going to play most of these clips, but I will be interjecting my analysis. That's the point of this channel. If you want to watch this entire press conference of President Trump without my commentary, go to bcpextras.com. That's bcpextras.com.
I'm going to pause that so you can do it, because I highly suggest that you do it. All right, because just for time's sake, the president says that the human trafficking is going in both directions. It's coming out of America and into America. He says that in his speech. All right, because this is a perverted people, and there are people in high places in the government that are involved in this, man. All right, and that's how it accidentally got exposed, that they were separating all those children from their parents a couple months back. If everyone remembers, when that was in the news, that was in the headlines for a couple of weeks there. And it turns out that a lot of those children were being trafficked. They were being sold into slavery and sexual slavery, and so were women. All right, and who's all behind that and controlling that? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, and your very higher ups in the government. So it turns out that this pedogate and this pedophile thing, this Pizzagate thing, was very, very real.
I provide the links and the sources for Patriot Radio. Now, if you've been on this channel a year ago, this executive order was to block the...
No, man, I was just trying to see if I could find it to where Trump said it, but he's interjecting. Like I said, I put up the link where you could go and watch it. So with that, I hope this was an edifying and revealing lesson. Call halal Yahweh by Shem Abashai by Shem Rakakwadash. Wa Abba Babal.